punish. Rage available. One touch and it is...
Oh my god! Can he kill though? Goes to the back into the Tooth Fairy, Rage Drive, and Fergus is going to be the December Fight Nights champion here.
Oh, baits him into one more hit, and then it's Fergus going through to the grand final.
It.
So close to top 8.
Oh no!
This could be it.
And Golanda, that might be all she wrote. And it looks like that's going to be it. Fergus takes out Golanda. Bro, one more.
Hereditary stimulus package.
Fergus! No! Fergus! Fergus!
When I was good once upon a time.
Hello. Welcome everyone to Tekken Pro Interviews. I'm Chicken Chakra. This is a new series that I'm starting off with, where I'm going to be interviewing some Tekken pros around the scene, different players, get a little glimpse of their backgrounds, their histories, who they are as a player, their best moments, etc. And today is our first episode. We're going to be joined by Fergus2k8 from Ireland. How are you doing, Fergus? You want to do a quick mic check?
I'm doing good.
Yeah,
I'm doing good. What about yourself?
I'm good. It's a Monday evening, so nothing to be kind of slow. But make sure everyone in the chat, if you can hear Fergus or if he's too quiet, let me know.
Hello, testing 1 2 3. Hello.
But we'll start it off. Just maybe if you can introduce yourself, Fergus. Who are you? What do you do? Yeah.
So I'm Fergus. I'm from Ireland. I play Asuka. I used to play in tournaments, but now I kind of focus on Twitch and YouTube. I've here in this wonderful interview with Chicken Chakra. Right now I'm focusing on my work, so I'm not so invested in competitive Tekken at the moment, but maybe next year I plan to come back properly. That's kind of like my motive at the moment.
Nice. So we'll start it off with your origin story, basically. So how did you get into Tekken or fighting games in general, right? So I know you played a bit of Street Fighter as well. So how did it all start off for you, basically?
Well, Tekken was just always like a childhood game for me. So I grew up, on Tekken 1, 2, 3, and so on. My older brothers would have played, 1 and 2, and then when I was growing up, I would have taken over 3 onwards, getting them myself. And
who
then
did you play in 3?
In 3, I mean, does anyone even remember who they played back then? They probably played like Julia or something like that, back then. But it was from 6 onwards when I started to play a bit more like competitively, because that's when I started to join like Tekken Zapatsu. I was more aware of the scene and the tournaments that are happening with the game. So I was kind of like just posting on Tekken Zapatsu, learning combos, learning frame data, and I played a lot online towards like the end of Tekken 6 as well. And there was like locals as well for Tekken 6 towards the end that I got to join a couple. But I would say the Irish scene really kind of took off in Tekken 7. Like there was a whole Tag 2 scene as well. But after like the first year of Tag 2, it just kind of died out completely. So it was just really just me playing online for the chunk of Tag 2.
Right.
And yeah, so it was like my tournament experience in Tag 2 would have been just like traveling a lot internationally. I met, for example, Go Sing in chat. I met him at Lionsden 2 in 2014.
10 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah. We'll start talking about then your tournament. So what was your first ever international tournament? How did it go, and why did you decide to go international as well?
So my first international tournament was back in 2013. So it wasn't specifically a Tekken tournament. It was like, it was a big overall tournament with a bunch of games at it. So I actually went for Street Fighter 4 initially, and I just entered Tekken Tag 2 as well. It was not a super high level tournament, but I got top 8, and I believe grand finals was Riki Maru versus Malekith. Wow. Yeah, so it was like Shiny Haru versus Asuka Tune. I remember Reinhardt was also in there. Puritan was also there, but he was under a different name, DS Destroy, like Lily Leo, which was like pretty random compared to what he plays now, right? But yeah, no. So I got like top 8 in that tournament, and that would be like my first ever like proper like Tekken tournament. But I think after that, when I started to travel for Tekken like exclusively, because I played a lot of Street Fighter 4 in the past, so I had like thousands of hours in Street Fighter 4, so I played that game a lot. So when that came out, I kind of switched off Street Fighter 4 after a couple of years to go back into Tekken properly with Tag 2. And then Tag 2 came out, and I just kind of fully fledged and stuff. That's when I started streaming as well. So when the game released, I also started to stream as well. So I've been streaming pretty much 12 years now, on Twitch. And back then it was Justin.tv back then.
Yes,
and
everybody go follow Fergus's Twitch and subscribe to him.
Yeah, please do. Use up your primes.
use up your crimes. So yeah, you talked about your first ever international tournament. It was like you said, you made top 8, right? And then there was Malekith versus whoever it was in grand finals. Ricky Maru, yes. That was,
it was, yeah.
So following on from that, you went to more and more tournaments. And what has been your favorite tournament experience so far? Your top one ever tournament you've ever been to?
Jeez, that's a hard one, isn't it? Like, because I've been to like so many. But I would say the 2018 Amsterdam finals holds a pretty good place in my heart because I was in the finals, so I was qualified, I was playing in it, but the whole Irish scene kind of came for it. Like even like the Street Fighter players, they also came just to support me in the finals, and I think just the overall experience of that tournament was good as well. You had the 3 big screens, you had the whole like theater, so the seating was good, and there was loads of casuals to play as well. So it was just overall like a super good tournament experience, but also obviously when I lost and went out, it turned into a good spectator experience as well. But yeah, it was just more like that. I had the whole scene behind me, and they were supporting me. They even did up like hashtag Team Fergus shirts. That like 15 people wore. I still have my copy in a wardrobe. And but yeah, that was probably nice. And they used that same venue again for the 2022 three.
No, Orleans was last year, so 2022. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, 2022. So it was an amazing venue, and overall, I think it was just an amazing tournament experience to be in.
A lot of Irish people went last time in Amsterdam as well. It was even the Street Fighter guys, I remember.
Yeah, we got a nice group picture as well.
Yeah. So speaking of making it to TWT finals, you've made it to a couple TWT finals. You want to tell us like how was that experience qualifying for the first one that was in San Francisco, I believe, wasn't it? So
yes,
that one.
Yeah, so I qualified for the one in 2017, San Francisco. So the format for that one was unique in that it was 5 from Europe, 5 from Asia, and 5 from America. So it wasn't like a global leaderboards that you would have seen in 2018 onwards. But that was also like their first year of Tekken World Tour, first year of Tekken 7. So like, I suppose they're like experimenting with different formats. But for that one I qualified. It was me, Kane and Trench, Tishumon, Blackbeard, and Subakuma. So and then America was like Anakin, Joey, Princess Ling, Speed Kicks, and someone else, I think. But it was just kind of funny because on the American team you had like all the Jacks and Dragonoffs, and then Japan had like all Dragonoff as well, and then Team Europe was just wacky ass team of like Raven, Asuka, Yoshimitsu. Yeah, so like. But Europe's always been like that, kind of like a wildcardy kind of region, But yeah, so I qualified for that, and I managed to beat Princess Ling, so I didn't go 0-2. I remember my match against Joey Fury in my group. I was actually like very close, and I also had JD there, which he just kind of owned me, but I got Keith Charge tackle in. So who really won, But I just remember that because people are like, oh, why did you Keith Charge JDCR? Like, what the hell? And it's like, bro, it's literally like a setup.
Sure, that's your excuse.
But, yeah. Well, I lost that. I landed and I lost that same round anyway. So, but
bring it back.
Yeah. So, but it was a very small venue. Like there's only like I think like 10 rows of seats. It was very small. There wasn't really like many spectators as well. Like it was really just locals from California, showed up. But I think after that Tekken World Tour, I think Tekken really started to pick up. Like in terms of like coverage or exposure in terms of, peak players. Like, I think a lot of people showed up really in like season 2, 3 onwards. So I think that's when Tekken started to like really pick up. And
And then, so that was the first Tekken World Tour you qualified for, and then you qualified for one the year after as well. And I know that was sort of your crazy year where you're traveling all around the world. And you want to tell us a little bit about where you went just to qualify for that TWT finals?
So just name some countries. I went to like Colombia, I went to Singapore, I went to like America a bunch of times. I was all over Europe. That year, and Canada. I was in Canada as well. That year was, I won't lie, it did kind of put me off like competitive Tekken. Like I did well, I had really good runs. I was very consistent with my results, obviously, because I got top 20. I think I got like 11th or 12th in the end, like globally. So I was really successful. I was in grand finals a bunch of times. But in the finals itself, I didn't do too good. I had to play Anakin, Rangshu. Who else did I play in that group? I played Anakin, Rangshu. I'll be honest, I don't remember the. Oh, Saints, yes. How can I forget Saints? I had the pop up that we're not going to talk about.
Maybe one day.
But
So that was amazing. Basically, you qualified for two TWTs in a row, and you did really well. You traveled all around the world, like you said, Singapore, Colombia. You did really well in Colombia, top 2, wasn't it? So, or top 3, I think.
Top 3, yeah.
Yeah, you just did really well there. So you've been to basically everywhere around the world for Tekken. There's some very few tournaments where you haven't been to at this point, I'd say. Let's say what is your favorite tournament in let's go region for the region, right? So let's start with NA. What's your favorite NA tournament that you've been to so far?
I mean, I would say Combo Breaker maybe, because like I've only been once, but my one experience was really good. Like we had that NA versus EU, which was like a whole storyline that year. There's so much hype built up around it, and I got to be on the European team in the 10v10. I kind of, the classic. I choked a bit, but whatever. That's another story. But yeah, I know. Like I think it was the first. I think that was also like the first tournament where we had like a huge like European presence at the NA tournament. Pretty much all of our top players went, so it really felt like us versus them kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So, like we were all in the bracket, of course. And unfortunately, some Europeans ran into each other. But
yeah, 4 Europeans getting 9th place that year as well, which is really unfortunate. Yourself included. Chicken Maru, Nuno, Ru Kang, and I think another European got 9th place, or I don't remember.
Exactly, yeah. But it was good, like it was like a community effort, you know what I mean? Like we were all like kind of supporting each other. We were like telling each other, yeah, do this and so on, right? And especially in the team tournament itself, we were all like loud, we were cheering each other on. Every hit you could hear screams from both sides, it was really an electric tournament. It felt like a real community tournament, you know what I mean?
Nice.
But yeah, but definitely combo breaker for me for NA for sure.
And now for EU, so what is your favorite European tournament experience that you have ever had? Other than the TWT Amsterdam one, because you already mentioned that.
Yeah. So excluding the finals, it's hard to say. Like 2 definitely stands out. Head Stompers is one of them, but that's a bit like well, obviously it's an amazing tournament. Like they do, a very unique thing with free ice cream and popcorn at the venue, which is not really offered anywhere else. Loads of casuals, quick projectors, the usual stuff. But I think the thing with Head Stompers for me is it was also around in Tag 2, and like the TO, like I know him, he's a friend of mine. So like we would have Tag 2 tournaments at Head Stompers, and there would be one of the bigger ones for Tag 2, and then so it was like the Arlo group in Tag 2, we would go to all the Head Stompers, and then Head Stompers got bigger and bigger and became a like multi event, and of course I'm happy for the group that got that big. But yeah, it's just an amazing tournament. It's always a good time. The free ice cream, the infinite free ice cream is always nice to have. Yeah, I would say Head Stompers is one of them for sure.
Any other
Another one.
massive
Yeah, I was
European
gonna.
tournaments you like? Yeah.
I would say UFA is a pretty good choice. There's one in 2 weeks. Unfortunately, I can't go, but UFA is always like a nice thing for me because like venues huge, loads of setups. It's in like central-ish Paris, so it's you still have quite a few things to do around the area. I think where the venue area is, it's a bit dodgy maybe,
I think that's a
but the
theme
venue,
with European tournaments. You got only the best
yeah.
and UFA and and then the mix up is like in the middle of nowhere. So.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, UFA is always like being like of the regular tournaments, Head Stompers UFA is always a good time. I like Only the Best as well, but that's just I'm a bit biased because I like
Italian
Italy
food.
a lot. Yeah, Italian food and blah 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 blah. But Bode does a good job anyway with the tournament, so
Yeah.
it's always a good time as well.
So we'll go on to away from well, not really away from tournaments, but we'll talk about your career as a Tekken player so far. So what is
Mm.
your most memorable ever Tekken moment in your career?
hmm
Your highlight, your number one highlight.
Um, well, there's a few, so I don't know if I can say like straight up a single one, but I think beating a Waste Honey was definitely a big like peak in my career or whatever you want to call it. Because at that point, I did okay in the group, but it was looking really apparent that I wasn't going to qualify. And my last opponent to play was a Waste Honey. And at the time he was like dominating the Tekken Multi events. He was winning the Masters and all that. So he was like pretty unstoppable and on top of Kuma, the best character in the game. So I was just kind of thinking, oh, this is like GG's for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no way I can beat, like, I need to beat this guy. And I probably have to beat him 2-0 just to have a chance of qualifying, right? So I was thinking, yeah, that's it for me. So we sat down to play, and I won the first round, and I was like, okay. And then I won the first game, and I was like, oh shit, this is like doable. This is winnable. And then the second match was like a lot closer. And then I'm sure you remember the big scrambly moments at the end, where he raging demons me. And like I know the situation after because I play Super Kuma quite often in tournaments. So I obviously like looked at some situations and the Raging Art Demon, like he's actually minus on hits. He has to take a get up kick mix up and he can punish get up 4 as well, I believe. So I just like mashing on get up 4. And I don't remember exactly what happened, but
You did what, down 4 into wall standing 4 or something like that.
yeah, I did. He tried to sweep me and I countered him with wall standing 4. And then that KO popped up and I was like, oh shit, like I beat my Waste Honey like 2-0, you know what I mean? And then that wasn't me like 100% qualified at the time. I had to rely on Daniel Mado beating Super Kuma, and that did happen. And then that pushed me through. So I like barely qualified in like a tournament of killers. You know what I mean? I had Bilal in my pool, I had Super Kuma in my pool. It was my pool was the depth pool. Like of the A and B, I was in the B side, and that was the depth pool, and I made it through.
Yeah.
And
So
by beating a literal demon, do you know what I mean? So
for
yeah, that
anyone at home who wasn't aware, so We Play was a tournament that happened, I think it was 2021 or 2020. It was one of those years that happened in
2021, yeah,
2021 in Kiev in Ukraine. Hasn't happened again because of some issues, but there were some, I think,
yeah,
10 or 16 10 or 12 invited players in the world came down. This was just after pandemic as well, or even in the middle of pandemic, I think, where a lot of things were still closed, so a lot of people couldn't make it down, but Fergus was one of the invited players, along with, like you said, Arslan Ash, Waste Honey, JDCR, Saint, Super Akuma, Kira, the likes of these players all came down, Bilal as well.
Yeah,
there was
so
2 pools, right? And then Fergus was in, like you said, the pool of death. So yeah, you can talk to us a little bit about how that was like how did you know you were going to go to Kiev? When did you realize, oh damn, this is like big?
yeah, so I got the email to go because you have to remember at that time, it was during COVID period, everyone was playing online. There was like no offline events happening at all. And then you just kind of had this big tournament appearing out of nowhere, inviting all these players. Like a big showcase. The production value was insane, right? Like I was there in person as well, so it was insane in person also. Yeah, I got the email and I said yes, of course. Immediately. Do you know what I mean? The prize pool was good, so that was also a big incentive. But so we get there, and I arrive at the airport. Now, the team behind we play, I don't think they're so like super knowledgeable about the Tekken scene. So I think for a while I had like Ricky Martin profile pictures. So when I landed in the airport, and they were taking a while to find me, and I was like a bit confused. So I started to look for them, and then I found them, and then like they were like, "Oh, you're Fergus," and then I was like, "Yeah, yeah, that's me." And then I found out from a Soul Calibur player. So there was also a Street Fighter and a Soul Calibur. No, there was no Street Fighter. Mortal Kombat and Soul Calibur. So I found out from a Soul Calibur player that, yeah, bro, they were looking for Ricky Martin because he was my profile picture. So they're literally looking for Ricky Martin at the airport. But instead, they just get me instead. You know what I mean?
The disappointment in their faces. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. But yeah. So that was a bit of a story. But yeah, no, the experience was nice. Like we couldn't go out because it was still during COVID period. So it was pretty much straight from hotel to venue and back, right? But when we landed, we had to stay in our room for like 2 days, I think. Like, what's the word?
Quarantine, right?
Quarantine. Yeah, yeah. So it was just like spending 2 days on my own in a room, just ordering foods. Like, it was all expenses paid. So
On
it was a bit.
Ukrainian food apps.
Yeah, it was a bit surreal to be honest. But then eventually we were laid out and we could play and chill and yeah, the tournament was amazing. Like it was a good experience. Yeah.
Nice. And so moving on from that, so we talked a little bit about your tag. 2 days you've been to Paris and going to like Lion's Den and Head Stomper and all that, and then Tekken 7 you qualified for DWT twice, and been around to Ukraine for replay and all around as well. And how are you feeling about Tekken 8 as a competitor? Do you really want to start back to become a competitor again, or do you just want to chill, become sort of what you're doing now, content creation, Twitch streaming, keeping Tekken as a side thing basically?
Yeah, so on release, I thought the game was awful because, like obviously, like we had to keep in mind it was in Tekken always had an arcade release, so they didn't have this with Tekken 8. Just went straight to consoles because the arcade scene is dying out and blah blah blah. So it was still in like a beta state. But yeah, I thought the game was really awful on release. Like homing power crushes, homing throws. Some characters are way too much. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I am not touching this, in tournaments. But like they had patches and changes after that, and it was good. They tones down power crushes, they tones down the heat bursts, they tones down homing throws, and they touched a lot of characters. So like it was in a much better state. And of course, my character actually was. People say, "Oh yeah, my character's bad," but like my character actually was bad on release. She was really bad, but she got a lot better as well. So I think that also helped my enjoyment of the game as well. But I feel like competitively wise, like I feel like I've done everything. Do you know what I mean? So, I've been doing tournaments for 12 years now, longer than that in my local scene. So I feel like, like mix up came up, like bro, I've been to mix up like 7 times. I've been to versus fighting like 7 times, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's just the same old, you know what I mean? So I don't have like a big motivation to go. And, of course, I'm not sponsored, but it's kind of like a catch-22 situation. You need to go and do well to get a sponsor, but if you're not going, you don't get one, but you need one, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm pretty happy right now just chilling in my room, watching the tournaments. Because what I mentioned earlier in 2018 kind of put me off big time. I traveled a lot, but it was now these guys right now, Tekken is, Sefi, Tibetano, Jod, all these people like traveling every weekend, different continents. I'm like, I did that in 2018, and it's hard. It's really, really hard.
Yeah, those
because
guys travel so much. so much.
Yeah, because 1 month I did Colombia, Singapore, Berlin, and Canada in 1 month, like literally all different continents. And my body clock was destroyed. I couldn't sleep. My health was really bad. And like I managed because there was also a lot of stress because I was like 22, 23 on the leaderboard, so I needed like one big last push. So there's a lot of stress and thinking, oh, I have to get top 8 here. I have to pray this guy doesn't do that well here. And, there's a lot of number crunching and, like rooting against people not to do well because they overtake you, blah, blah. So it's really bad. Like, so
I'm sure that's
in
what
2019
going through right now.
Yeah,
and
bro.
Tetsu and Sevi and all those likes.
I am not jealous one bit,
crazy.
because I've experienced that already, and it's not fun, like, and on top of the exhaustion of traveling as well, it's a big, because you land, especially like my approach right now, like when I go to a tournament, I want to make a holiday of it, I book an extra day, I chill, like I'm not that competitive, so I'm not taking tournament too seriously. But back then, it was literally just airport, hotel, venue, play the tournament, stress the entire weekend, and go home and repeat that, So, yeah, no, I just
So you think
kind of don't.
left the competitive side of Tekken behind you now?
I
don't
think
think you'll
so,
come back?
because when I see people talk about, like all character changes and blah, blah, like that kind of goes over my head a little bit because I don't have to worry about that stuff in tournament, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. Like, of course, if I get, like, for me right now, I will only come back if I get a salary sponsor, and that's probably not likely because I'm not doing anything, right? So yeah, I think it might be potentially be, GTs for me. But like I said, I'm happy doing my YouTube. I'm happy doing my Twitch. I'm happy to watch these people really go through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah. Like I see Tipitano popping up on his stream in like Mexico. I'm like, bro, what's he doing there? Like,
He was just in Dubai. I think he was one of 2 European players in that Emerald Showdown, right? So him and Tetsu both making it to Dubai is crazy.
Yeah, and like back then, like me and Supakuma, I think were the 2 like most traveled Europeans, like during the early Tekken 7 time. So yeah, I'm not jealous of these guys one bit. So I just kind of just watch them go through it. And I'm like, yeah, I did that.
Nice. No, that was really good. So we'll move on from your experiences a little bit and just go on about what you think right now in terms of Tekken. Let's say, who right now are your favorite Tekken players? Let's say, do you have a favorite Tekken player who you always root for, or players that you just love to watch? You think a really good, strong sense of Tekken fundamentals or style that you really like? Is there anyone like that in your mind?
To be honest, I've never been the kind of guy that has a favorite player because I only enjoy watching my characters. You know what I mean? And my characters are like not in tournaments apart from King Reese Jr.'s run of Fiesta. That was really like the only like standout Asuka performance in this game. So I mean, yeah, I've never been one to like kind of idolize players, so I don't have like a favorite player. But it's supposed to be like all the Oscar players, in tournaments, But I mean, if I had to say like maybe Chanel, Arslan Ash,
Just thinking of
yeah, because they play the girls in tournaments, you know what I mean? It's like I'll always root for that. Oh, I suppose Chikurin right now because he's playing Lily, so I enjoy watching that.
Amsterdam 2022. Well, no, 2022. Yeah, the TWT finals. I remember I was there with you, and Chanel came through, and he was obviously qualified, so he was busy running around the place. And you wanted to talk to him, like you see your friend in the hallway. You're like, oh hi, yeah, how you doing? How was your tournament? Blah blah blah. But Chanel's English is very poor, and you're not the easiest to understand anyway as well.
Yeah.
So I think you just asked him like, Julia? And then he was like, no, you play Asuka. And then you were like, no, you play Zafina. And then he was like, no, you play Asuka. I was just there watching. I was like, oh, what are these guys talking?
Just exchange. Like it wasn't even that. It wasn't even like you play. It was literally just the character names at each other. It's like, oh, Safina, Julia, Anna. And then we just shook hands and walked off. Like
literally. Yeah, that happens quite a bit when you're traveling around. So let's say, like you said, Combo Breaker was your favorite NA tournament ever, right? You had that 10v10, you got 9th place, and so a lot of other Europeans, and it was just a good community effort. If you had another 10v10 EU versus NA right now, who would you put on the European team?
oh jeez, okay, 10 people. Well, obviously Joka, George, Tetsu, Sephi, Anamado, Nino, I think was doing super well recently. K-Wiz, Gosen. Is it maybe Subakuma? Like he had a really good run at OTP. He almost beat Arslan. So like, of course he doesn't have Akuma anymore, but he's still doing quite well with Lee regardless. Jeez, there's so many. Like you know yourself. Europe has so many good players. For number 10, Richie is a good shout. Yeah,
nice. That was a good 10. That was a strong 10. I feel like that 10 could win. Very good.
I mean, of course, you can say Tibetano, you can say Evil 46, you can say so many people.
And yeah, that's true as well. There's so many strong players in Europe right now. It'll be interesting if that ever happens again, the 10v10. We'll have to wait and see. Are there any? So like you said, you've basically done everything, right? Like you don't envy these players. You've done it all already. You've qualified for TWT finals. You've been to America, Asia, everywhere around Europe. Is there still anything else left on your bucket list you want to achieve with Tekken? Is there a tournament you want to go to, or an experience you want to have that you haven't had yet?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I've traveled the world with Tekken. I've been to places would never think of going to. If it wasn't for Tekken, that includes like Singapore, Thailand, Pakistan, for example, or Colombia, of course. But so I've been through a lot with Tekken, and I'm very grateful for that. I would say bucket list, Red Major, the Philippines. I always wanted to go, and I just want to experience the passion of the Filipino scene. So that's definitely like high on the bucket list. I mean, experience-wise, I've never won a huge major. Do you know what I mean? I've always come quite close. Like especially in 2018, I got so many second places. But I never had a big win. So I guess that's still there. But at the same time, I don't know if I care enough to chase that as well. Especially when the scene right now is so strong. Even to throw in a couple more names for 10v10, you've Dumbly, you've Kira, you have so many people rising up in Tekken. Even just like, I think Tekken 7 before COVID and Tekken 7 after COVID are like very two different scenes in Europe, very, very like tremendously. Yeah, like Jod, in my opinion, is arguably the best player in Europe along with Joka. You could say interchangeably between them. He started in season 3, like pretty much after COVID. So, and he is like arguably like top 2. Like I would say he's top 2 right now, easy. And yeah, he started quite late in Tekken 7. So I mean, like the scene, and Dumbly kind of cropped up after in the later part of Tekken 7 as well. So you have so many big names, and yeah, it's just I lost my train of thought.
It's fine.
But yeah, no, the scene is so different right now, and so like it's. I think tournaments nowadays are like much harder, and throw Pakistan into the mix as well. They kind of came in midway through Tekken 7, throw that in the mix. Country full of killers. Arslan's winning like most tournaments at the moment. But yeah, I think to do what I did before, like consistent like top 8 and grand finals, it's gonna be like much more difficult now. So I think the wishes of getting that huge win is like, it's not impossible, but it'll be hard,
Yeah, that was good. We'll go quickly to your characters, right? So obviously Fergus2k8, Asuka, you're known for the Asuka at this point. There's not many people who play Asuka out there. Why do you play Asuka? What's the origin story behind that?
Oh god. I mean, simple as I just like the character, like straight up. I saw her in Tekken 5. You know, I picked up Tekken 5. Yeah, whatever, backseat again. No, I just saw her in Tekken 5 and she had that cool intro and I was like, oh damn, that's that's pretty cool. And then yeah, I just played her ever since then and I think, she's such a rare tournament character as well. You don't really see her in like the top meta of tournaments, she's never been a meta character. So I think just having that character associated with me, because I make content for the character, I had success with the character in tournament, I'm usually like a reference for people to go to for Asuka. So, like I just have that attachment with the character. I think it's when you play a fighting game and you play a character, I think it's a bit more, what's the word, like personal, because you control the character, you have success with the character, you do things with the character, right? So I think the attachment is there a lot more, and especially if it's like a rarer character in general, that people can associate you with the character. So yeah, but the origin is just I just like the character from Tekken 5. Yeah, she was cool, she was fun. Then I started taking her more seriously in 6 onwards, and then here we are now.
Yeah, it's been a long couple of years.
Mm.
Who would you like to see come back as well from previous Tekken games? Are there any characters you'd really like to see come back, or you think will come back?
Well, I mean, the question is, who do I want to come back, or who do I think will come back?
Well, who do you want?
Who do I want? Well, I want Julia, I want Anna, I want Christy. But I think if you had like one character, going to my head, one character, I'd say Anna. Like I would love for Anna to come back. But I think at the same time, there's a couple of characters that are like for sure coming back, right? It's just a matter of when. Those characters include like Julia, Anna, Armor King, Miguel. They're gonna come back. It's just when, right? But yeah, Anna, like, and I think it'll be next season or two that when she comes back, it's just a matter of a waiting game. When she came in Tekken 7, she was a season 2 character, and I spent a lot of time with that character. Like, there was a period of like 3 or 4 months after her release where I played like pretty much exclusively her, because she was really bad on release, so it felt like satisfying winning with the character because she was literally like bugged and broken. But yeah, and I used her in the Tekken Motor Finals in Amsterdam. I got that big win against Saints in one of the matches, and because I just did dumb shit with Anna, and then I wasn't thinking straight. I stood up. I was like, shit, I have to do something. And then she did the titty shake win pose on screen, so I did it back, and I was like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I just did that.
It's a good thing you didn't play Zafina when you're crawling on the floor or something like
that. I know. I would have. If I played Zafina and she did it on the screen, I would have done as well. But yeah, so Anna, Julia, like Katarina, of course, I played that character a lot. Like, mostly because she was really easy and strong, but I did like the character too. But yeah, Julia, Anna. If it's Michelle instead of Julia, that'd be also great as well.
But you think Anna, number 1 character, you want to come back?
Yeah, definitely Anna,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's mainly it. I don't know if there's anything else. Let us know, guys, if there's any questions at home or in chat you want to ask Fergus while we still have him. But you want to talk about how people can find you, what you're up to. Do you offer coaching or YouTube or Twitch or anything like that?
So, well, yes, I do coaching on Metify. It's Metify / I forgot the website. Okay. No, it's metify.gg/Fergus. That's what it is. So I do coaching there. I'm on YouTube, Fergus2k8. I'm on Twitch, Fergus2k8. I stream pretty much most days of the week. So, I just play Asuka. I'm on a slow grind to 99k. So I just playing Asuka and other characters. Yes, my Twitter is Fergus_TK. So like I tweet random nonsense there. But yes, that's kind of where you can find me. Yeah.
Right. Yes, I'll leave those links in the description of the YouTube video as well. But yeah, I think that's it. Thanks very much. It was nice to get a little bit of insight into who you are, your history, and your thoughts and opinions on Tekken, past, present, and in the future as well. What you're hoping to achieve, your goals. Basically, you said you're finished with competitive Tekken. It's behind you now at this point, and you just want Anna to come back. That's all you need.
Yeah,
it's
great.
basically it. I think the past year for you has been not too much traveling, right? Like you haven't even been to many offline events for Tekken 8. We had that trip to Korea and Evo Japan, which was huge, but in my head I think of that more as like a holiday rather than a tournament, right? Like we spent like a week in Korea and then or like 10 days in Korea and then a week in Tokyo, where we just had like amazing food and experiences and went with friends and everything, and then the tournament was just the very last thing. And you were at Only the Best this year as well, and that was also a good experience. Got to eat some nice food, and Only the Best is always really interesting. It was the first time in Torino as well, so it was a new venue. And I don't think you have any other tournaments coming up international, at least this year, right? Or am I wrong? Don't think.
No, I'm pretty much yeah, like I did Evo Japan, I did Only the Best. I'm pretty much sitting out the rest of the tournaments for the year and just watch it unfold, you know what I mean? Like next year I will think about it, but you know, like it really depends if I get a sponsor. But again, you know, I have to go to tournaments to get a sponsor and blah blah blah. So unlikely. But yeah, I think, you know, like I said, I've done it for so long now, you know, like over 12 years, you know, like I've been to all the regular events, you know, I've done everything, you know, so I'm pretty happy to just kind of sit out and let them have a blood on themselves, you know.
Yeah. No, that's good. So basically, I think we'll definitely see you come back, especially if like something like Head Stompers comes back. I'm sure a lot of people will be going down to Head Stompers, and there's a lot of tournaments that are really close to us as well. So, and like Evo EU coming next year, I'm sure you're gonna be there as well for Evo EU in Nice in France. 100% everyone's gonna be there. So I'm sure it's not gonna be the last time we see you in tournaments as well, and hopefully you do well in those tournaments. But yeah, so I think for the rest of this year, it's just going to be chill content creation grind for you, which is nice. And it was really cool to hear about your past experiences with the TWT finals 2 years in a row, and we play qualifying for that top 8, and we play getting 5th place, I think, even at we play. And then just, yeah, all that. It's been a long road, and now we're just happy to sit back and watch these new young players fight for that TWT placement and all that. Yeah, is there anything else, last words you want to say to everyone at home before we close it off?
Yeah, no, just always grateful for people, you know, supporting my streams, you know, it might not be so involved in tournament scene, but I'm still grateful for people coming to my chats, you know, to my YouTube, my Twitch and so on. But yeah, no, just eternally grateful, you know, like I feel the obligation to come back to tournament scene, you know, because, you know, there's not many representatives for Asuka, so there's been a bit of a, you know, like a guilt, you know, not doing it with the character, you know, because she doesn't have much.
It's so difficult going around tournaments if everyone's stopping you every 5 minutes to say hi and, oh, I love your Asuka, oh, when do you think?
Oh no, well, no, I love that, you know. I'm pretty into Fergus, but I still like enjoy it regardless. But yeah, no, King Ray Jr. is doing a great job, so I can be like, yeah, you go do that, and you.
Yeah. Before we end it, quick question, Fergus, who's top 1 right now in Tekken 8 character? Top 1 character.
Oh, Dragunov.
Dragunov. Okay, that's easy, right?
Yeah.
Dragunov. No question.
Yeah, I mean, he's super easy, super strong. Like it's the perfect combination. Do you know what I mean? That's why you see so many of him.
Damn. Okay, that's nice to know. I think that's gonna be it. Thanks everyone for watching. Everyone who tuned in at home or on YouTube or wherever you are. Thanks very much. I appreciate it. Let us know who you'd like to come on next. I have a lot of players planned up to come on and just ask them about who they are, where they're from, and their stories. And if you have any questions you recommend me asking, just let me know as well. I'll leave you guys with the video again we had at the start of the stream, as a little montage of Fergus and his scrambles in the past with Tekken 7. But yeah, I'm sure we'll be seeing him more in the future. He streams nearly every day, like 3-4 times a week even, at least. And then he's even going to be streaming tomorrow, so make sure to tune in there. Yeah. He had like a 7-hour stream today, so he's very tired from ranked. I think he's pretty fed up with talking about Tekken. So
yeah, I don't want to say I want to close Tekken right now. I have a coaching session 1 hour, so I can't even get away. Like,
but yeah, that's it. Thanks everyone for watching at home, and stay tuned for more of these interviews. I'll be getting some more pros, mainly from EU, but I'll try to get some from NA and maybe even Asia on as well. So be sure to check that out. And I appreciate everyone stopping by and watching. Thanks very much. Goodbye.
The punish. Rage available. One touch and it is...
Oh my god! Can he kill though? Goes to the back three into the Tooth Fairy. Rage drive, and Fergus is going to be the December Fight Nights champion here.
Oh, baits him into one more hit, and then it's Fergus going through to the grand final.
So close to top 8.
Oh no!
This could be it.
And Galanda, that might be all she wrote. And it looks like that's going to be it. Fergus takes out Galanda. Bro, one more.
Hereditary stimulus package.
Fergus! No! Fergus! Fergus!